Many people would love to self-publish a book, but have no clue where to start.
Exactly.
If you've got a story in your head, that's great, but what if you don't?
That's what I'm saying.
Coming up with an idea, writing to market, this can all be quite overwhelming.
Preach it!
Who's that?
Hey, it's Hunter. I'm one of your subscribers, and I'm really wanting to self-publish books. I don't really want to have to do all that work. Is there a way I can just make the money and someone else does all the work for me?
Great question, Hunter. The truth is, you really don't have to do all that work. In fact, you really don't have to do any of it. That's right. You can self-publish a book and not do all the work. I did a video before where I hired a Fiverr illustrator to illustrate a picture book for me. But if you want help self-publishing a book, there are people that can help you in other areas too. How about I do an entire series where I hire freelancers from Fiverr to do different steps of the process for me. And just to spice things up a bit, instead of doing picture books, I'll have them do something I've never done before. Self-publishing a chapter book.
Dude, I'm in.
Okay, well then it's settled. So today, let's start off by hiring a ghostwriter on Fiverr. Now, when you're preparing to hire a ghostwriter, there's one important thing to keep in mind. You get what you give. Now, I'm not talking about money-wise. I'm talking about guidance. When you hire a ghostwriter, you need to decide how much control you want to give them. You can go highly organized and give them a topic, a title, character sheets, story outline, including chapter layouts and even chapter titles. Or you can decide to give them more creative control by giving them less pre-assigned details. But understand that with more creative control means less control for you. So if you decide to give less guidance to your ghostwriter, then you can't be surprised or upset if the manuscript you get back isn't exactly what you envisioned. So basically, you just want to make sure that you set your expectations with yourself and the seller before you even book that gig. Now, let's get started. So here we are on Amazon.com. I'm in incognito mode, so that way I don't get any kind of bias based on my previous searches. The only thing I've done so far is I've gone into books and I looked at the early chapter books. I started typing in chapter books, and early chapter books was one of the things that came in the drop down, and that's really what I'm interested in. What I want to do is I think I'm going to hire 3 different ghostwriters on Fiverr to write my books. One of them I want to literally just do it all from scratch, come up with their own concept and write the book. The other 2, I want to give them a topic or some kind of guidance. One of them I know I want to be a mystery book, and the other one I have no idea. So what I want to do is a little bit of like writing to market type research. So I want to find a category or a genre that has enough sales so that the BSR shows for the number 1 all the way to the number 20, that it's going to show that there's consistent sales. And I'm also looking for something that's not super competitive. Like I don't want anything where the BSR is, if the number 20 is below like 10,000, I don't even want to mess with it because that's going to be too competitive. I'm going to have to like run a lot of ads and do a lot of things in order to even compete. And I don't want to go too deep into any of that. So I want to find something in the sweet spot where hopefully the number 20 spot is close to 100,000. 100,000 usually means that there's getting between 1 and 3 sales a day, which is something that is comparable to what I can get hopefully organically or with minimal ads being run. And so that way, once you get in that top 20, you got a good chance of kind of fighting for, that top, 5 spot or something like that. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I want to try to find one topic that I'm going to give them. I'm not going to do an outline or anything like that. I really want to see what they can do themselves, but I am going to give them a topic, something that will allow me to put this book in this particular category. So we have to find that category. So I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to pick any book. Let's just pick this one. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to the categories. Let's just pick this mystery one for now. So this is actually going to be the competition for the mystery book that I want to get done. So that's, that'll show me what to expect as far as like how competitive it is. You can see the information here. It's going to be from the DS Amazon Quick View. So as you can see, that's 320. That's super competitive. So I'll probably have to have them drill down a little bit more and be a little bit more specific more than just a generic mystery detective or spy. Okay, so literally I'm just going to go through each one of these and just click. And again, what I want to look at is I want to look at the BSR for books for the number 1 slot and then the number 20 slot. And my hope is that this number 20 slot is going to be around 100,000 or less, because that's something that is attainable to get in that top 20. Okay, so this one is less than 3,000, so that's super competitive. So again, I'm going to have to come up with some other topic within mystery to drill down a little bit more. I've already done a little bit of research on this, and what I did see, to expedite things, I want to show you. If I go down to cars, trains, and things that go, I'm actually going to show you some stuff that, as of the recording of this, is actually a good category that you might want to write a book for and get your book in there. And it is one that I saw that I like is going to be, and this is what I'm going to have them do the other book on, is planes and aviation. And one reason why I really liked this particular category, it's a little bit more competitive than what I'm looking for. Because if you scroll down to the 20 spot, it's still around 21,000, which is super competitive. But one thing I do like is the new releases. If I click on the new release, and obviously only the top 3 new releases in that category are going to show up right there. But if you look at this 3rd slot, the 3rd slot, so the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are going to show up on that hot new releases. And as you can see, the 2nd spot is ranked 147,000. And the 3rd slot, which is still going to show up, is 271,000. So I don't see any problem whatsoever competing with those type of books for the hot new release, which is going to be the first 30 days that your book is live. So because of that is why I'm considering this particular niche. One thing I wanted to show you guys is construction vehicles. Now, even if your book isn't going to be chapter book or anything like that, construction vehicles, if you're going to have a book in that niche, could be super profitable for you. And let me show you why. Okay, so as you can see, these first slot is super competitive. It's just under 3,000. But if you look, this is a coloring book. This is a coloring book. So the actual first real book that's in the bestsellers is right here. And that's number 20,000. I mean, it's competitive, but when you compare it to the other ones where 20,000 was like the number 20 slot, let's jump down to the 20 slot and see what that ranks. 20 slot right here is 94,000. That's almost 100,000. So if you can get 2 to 3 sales a day, that can really get you in this top 20 right here. And, again, when people are looking specifically in books, then they're probably, they're not looking for coloring books and stuff like that. So they'll just skip right over the coloring books and really start to get to the real content. Now, you could do these same searches on ebooks on the Kindle store, but I intentionally picked books because I want to sell physical books. We all know that the real profits come with selling those paperbacks. So I wanted to see how competitive it is with the paperbacks and create my book concept from there. So again, construction vehicles right here, it's a good niche if you guys want to create books. And obviously more people that see this video and everybody jumps in it, it might not be as profitable because it might be super competitive at that point. But as of the recording of this video, you can see the numbers right there. So I'm not using that. I'm actually going to test my boundaries and I'm going to do the planes and aviation. So let's head on over to Fiverr and I'm going to start finding those 3 Fiverr ghostwriters that I'm going to hire. Now here we are on Fiverr.com. Now, if you just go to Fiverr.com, you're going to see everything. You're going to see graphic design, digital marketing, and all these different subcategories. But it can be really overwhelming. So if you go to kwheelerbooks.com/Fiverr store, it'll bring you just to the publishing book and ebook store. So it only focuses on things that are really relevant to what we're looking for. So writing your book, editing and polishing, like all the different steps that come along with creating your book, all right here in this store. So again, that's kwheelerbooks.com/Fiverr store. So here we are, we're gonna write a book, and what I'm looking for is gonna be fiction. Now the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna go into find services, and I'm gonna type in chapter book, ghostwriting. Now, as you can see, it came up with quite a bit of options, and you can sort by relevance. Right here, it's 407 services available. So you can filter on the category, service options, seller details. So perhaps I only want people that are level 2 or top rated. Maybe I don't want any level 1s or new sellers. You can also set your budget range, delivery time, and all of that, again, are filters that you can do to kind of narrow things down. Now, the couple tips that I have when it comes to picking anybody on Fiverr. Ideally, if you can use references, someone that that's already used them, that's ideal. Things you want to do is you want to check out the number of reviews that they have and the stars. Like this is 5 stars, but it's only a few reviews. So keep that in mind when you're selecting somebody. Now, that doesn't mean just because they're new on Fiverr that they're new to that particular gig or that particular type of work that you're looking for. So don't just write somebody off just because of things like that. But one thing that you always want to do is when you find a gig that you might be interested in, you want to go to the contact me for that particular seller. It'll message them through the messaging system here on Fiverr, and talk to them before you even come close to buying their gig. Tell them what you're looking for, see what their availability is. They might not be able to meet your timeline. And so you want to tell them exactly what you're looking for. Depending on how specific your particular needs are, you can come up with a summary of what you want your story to be. Maybe you have idea of, the characters you want in there, how you want it to end, what kind of story it is, whatever your needs are. Make sure that you put that all in a message using the contact me option through each gig. So I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm going to click on this gig. Now, as you can see, this is making an outline, which is not what I'm looking for, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about. So you see, you can buy the gig. You can look at basic, standard, premium. There's an option to contact seller. Even if you find what you think is the perfect gig for you, the perfect, maybe you want standard or whatever, always contact the seller first. Again, make sure that they can meet your timelines, make sure that they can work with your budget. There's a really good chance that whatever you want doesn't exactly fit into one of those 3 categories that they have for their different gigs. So, like you might want a 2,500 word story written, and the only options that they have available are 1,000 and 5,000. So again, you reach out to them using the contact seller option and message them and tell them what you're looking for, and you can get a custom order made that way. It's much easier on you and the seller if you find out ahead of time and set expectations before you even purchase the gig, because nothing is more difficult and more frustrating than if you buy the gig and then you find out from talking to them that they're not going to be able to meet your timeline, or that it's going to cost more money, or that they just aren't understanding what you're looking for. So again, making sure that you figure all that out before you even book your gig is a great way to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So I've done a little research, and I've found the 3 sellers on Fiverr that I'm really interested in hiring to ghostwrite my children's chapter book, my early chapter book. And so the first one here is Chloe Writes. The gig itself says, I will ghostwrite an amazing children's storybook or picture book. So what I've done is I've reached out to her to clarify that I'm looking for a chapter book, and if that's something that she's interested in doing, and if so, how much would it cost? For my early reader chapter book, I'm looking for 2,500 words. So if you look over here and I go to I believe it's the premium. Yeah, the premium is $50 for 2,500 words on any topic that I want. And before I pick it, again, like I said, I researched her a little bit. I looked at her reviews, that she has. I contacted her and got a little more information. Also, read about the gig, read about her, read about their background. But you can tell how well they write and how well their English is by what they write in their gig and about their bio and things like that. So that's a great way to kind of look into how their writing abilities are without even hiring them right now. So I'm going to hire Chloe Wrights to do it says on any topic. So I think I'm going to hire her to do my book on aviation. So the whole book doesn't have to be about aviation. And I'm going to tell her this, I just want there to be some kind of reference, that there to be some kind of airplane or aviation in the story. So that way it will fit into that category that I'm looking for. Next up is I Am Grace 9. And again, you can see what they write, how well they write, the syntax that they use. The basic gig is a top-notch 300 words. I went all the way to premium, and the premium is $100, but it's only for 1,500 words. So again, with illustrations, because this is an early chapter book, I don't need as many illustrations as I would for a picture book. So what I've done is I've contacted the seller again and asked them if they could do 2,500 words without illustrations for that same price. And he agreed. So again, this one is going to be 2,500 words, no illustrations for $100. I'm probably going to have them do the one that's going to be maybe mystery. I don't know. I'm going to actually reach out to each of the sellers one more time and figure out which would be the best fit as far as which of those 3 writing ideas I have. So again, the aviation, the mystery book, or just letting them write their own and see what they come up with. Now, the last one I picked is Christa Watkins. Now, Christa Watkins is a bit more expensive. Her first basic gig is, commercial use rights, and it says right here 2,000 words. The next one is 6,000 words for $500. So again, like I said before, I reached out to the seller and I said, look, this book I'm looking for is 2,500 words, doesn't really fit into either one of those categories. So she came back and she said she would do it for the $200. And so this person, because they write adventurous children's chapter books, specifically chapter books, I'm probably going to let her come up with her own idea. I'm really interested in seeing what she can come up with. So again, I'm going to reach out to each of them one more time and kind of throw out my ideas. So again, for Chloe Wrights, I'm going to reach out and see if she's okay with doing a book that has to do with planes or aviation or anything like that. I'm going to reach out to I Am Grace 9 to see if they're okay with doing a mystery type book. And then again, for Christa right here, I'm going to reach out to her and see if she can just write one just off the top of her head, 2,500 words, something adventurous, that she's used to. Now, the good thing is if I Am Grace 9 is not interested in doing a mystery type book, because Christa Watkins is used to writing adventurous children's chapter books, then a mystery is probably something that she could do a really good job of. So I might just switch out who writes the mystery and who just writes off the top of their head. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hire each of these to write them books, and I will let you know how they turned out. Well, here we are 1 day later. So I've reached out to all 3 of the ghostwriters that I wanted to reach out to here on Fiverr. And I, again, asked them a few more questions, told them the idea I had as far as what their topic was going to be, whether it was going to be the aviation one, the mystery, or just having them write it themselves. And I've gotten offers from all 3 of them. So we're going to go into my inbox here on Fiverr, and let's start with Chloe Wrights. This is the one that was going to be $50, and let's see what her offer is. Okay, let's scroll up a little bit. Okay, so here's the offer. 2,500 words, aviation themed children's story, 30 to 35 words per page, 8 pages per chapter, and 10 chapters in total. So I'm allowed 2 revisions. It's going to take her about 7 days, and she's quoting me at $50. So here we go. We're going to continue. Scroll down, confirm and pay. Now, because I've already submitted all the information to her, I'm just going to type in here, already discussed. The information I provided is accurate, and click Start Order. Now we're going to move on to I Am Grace 9. This offer is I'll write a children's ebook, kid story. It's $100. Went through and gave them a little bit of the stats that I needed, 2,500 words, about 10 chapters, and they're giving me 6-day delivery. So let's go and continue. As you can see, I've got the balance was 35, remaining payment is $68.58. I'm going to use my PayPal account. As you can see, the service fees is going to be $3.58. You can hover over here and just get a little bit of information as to what it's for. So $68.58 is what I'm paying after my $35 balance. So it's going to be a total of $103.58. Confirm and pay. Again, this is where you would put in your information, the specs for it. I've already discussed it with them through the actual inbox. So I'm just going to say already discussed. Word count I'll answer, that's 2,500. Again, all the information is accurate. Start order. Cha-ching. Okay, the last one is Christa Watkins. That's the one that's going to be $200. And we're going to check out the bid that she gave. Approximately 2,500 words. Children's story, as discussed, includes commercial use rights. That's really big. Make sure when you're communicating with them that you're making sure that you have full rights to use the story that they write for you. 7-day delivery, so about the same amount of time. So looks good, $200. Continue. Again, my payment, I'm going to use my PayPal. $200. The service fee for this one is going to be $11. So $211 I'm paying right now. Confirm and pay. Cha-ching. Well, there you go. We just hired 3 ghostwriters on Fiverr to each write a 2,500 word early chapter book. I'll let you know in the future video how they turned out, and we'll go on to hiring an editor from Fiverr. In the meantime, we can start getting on to promoting these books and get that buzz going. Check out this video right here where my buddy Mark Gaberti shared some great ways to promote your books using social media. Now, if you've already seen that video, or maybe you're not really wanting to start the promotion process yet, then check out this video right here that YouTube says is perfect for you. I'll check you out in one of those videos, and remember to write right.